Hey guys, it's Spooky from ArmoredTalk.com, your blog and website bringing you Armored Warfare news and information. Today we are in a Swingfire. I think this is actually a game where I'm in a platoon of Swingfires. This particular tank has caused a lot of controversy lately. If you're not familiar with it, it is a Tier 4 armored fighting vehicle, which usually belongs to the Recon class. The controversy stems from, in this incarnation of the early access test in Armored Warfare, a lot of people consider it to be overpowered, and it very well may be. It has one of the best view ranges in the game, and the mobility of it is pretty good. It's also a small vehicle, and the camouflage factor, as you can tell in the lower left-hand corner, the little white bar shows you your camouflage indicator. It indicates how well your vehicle conceals. The Swingfire is obviously a fully charged bar there, indicating that it has really good camo values. So this makes it hard to see, and it has a good view range. You know, for a recon vehicle, that makes sense. You want to be able to support your team in lighting up the enemy so that they can shoot it. The problem comes in that if it can sit outside of the view range of other tanks and fire missiles all day long, that can wreak havoc on the enemy. You'll notice that it's firing anti-tank guided missiles, and that is the only weapon system that you're going to have on the Swingfire in Armored Warfare. So you are not going to be running up to an enemy tank and circling around and shooting it. The only time you can fire ATGMs is when you're stationary. So you have to be stationary for a second or two before you're able even to fire. If you're sitting back and sniping like I'm currently doing, that's not a problem. I'm pretty much stationary the entire time because my camo value is keeping me hidden from the enemy. My great line of sight is helping light them up, although now I think some of our forward scouts are doing that for me. Something else the Swingfire is capable of doing, and I think you'll see later on in this game, is firing the missiles in third-person view. What I mean by that is right now I have direct line of sight to that tank. I'm able to use the sniper view to zoom in. But tanks or vehicles that have the capabilities of firing anti-tank guided missiles can also be in third-person view and fire the missiles and guide them in that way. So this means you could be sitting behind hard cover, such as rocks or on the other side of a hill, zoom out so that you're able to see around the hill or over the rock in third-person view, have your cursor or reticle highlighting the enemy, and fire your missiles and be able to hit them without them having any sort of chance at all of hitting you back. This isn't a capability that's unique to the Swingfire. The Sheridan or other vehicles that have anti-tank guided missiles can also fire them in this manner. You know, in the first early access test, I actually thought the Swingfire was too hard to play. Part of this was, in order for your missiles to be able to hit a target, you really need to be able to see where the tracks met the ground for aiming purposes. Otherwise, it seemed like your missiles would always hit behind the tank. They changed that in the second alpha test, and I think that a lot of people have been playing the Swingfire, which has led to a lot of missile spam, which has led to the opinion that the tank is overpowered at the moment. Whether it is or not, I don't know. I do know that it has a lot more success now than it did in the first test. And if their internal numbers are showing that it's winning too much or doing too much damage, then they definitely need to do something to nerf it. The way they're going to do that is in a couple of different ways. There's a hotfix that's going to be applied and is actually being applied to the European servers this afternoon that fixes a line of sight bug in firing anti-tank guided missiles. Whether this is going to prevent you from firing in third-person view entirely, or if there is just some other bug where you shouldn't be able to fire it in certain circumstances where you don't have direct line of sight, I'm not sure. But that's going to affect the Swingfire and all other tanks that fire guided missiles. The other nerf they're going to be doing to the Swingfire is that in some future patch, they are going to be reducing the view range of the Swingfire. I'm not sure if that's going to be the third early access test or the fourth. It just depends on how hard that is for them to change, and if it fits in with some of their balance changes. I'm sure they'll be doing some other tanks or not. Hopefully they don't reduce the view range by too much, simply because the Swingfire, if it doesn't have the ability to fire missiles in third person, is not going to have that great of weapon system to be able to fight. which means it's going to have to rely on its ability to scout and mark targets. In order for this to work, it needs to use its good camouflage values, get in a position where it can spot the enemy. Well, if it doesn't have very good view range, that's going to be kind of hard to do. So hopefully they don't nerf the view range too much. But that's a large part of these early access tests, is to test the actual vehicles and make sure that they are all balanced well. Armored Warfare does not want to be in a position where some tanks provide horrible gameplay for most people. Otherwise, they're going to start feeling grindy and people are not going to enjoy playing the game. If a tank feels bad to you, but 75 or 85% of the other people enjoy it, then it's just not fitting your playstyle. But if 95% of the people find a tank a poor performer, there's something wrong with that tank. But on the flip side, we do not want vehicles that are so overpowered everybody's wanting to play them. Otherwise, you'll end up with games where there are 6 or 7 of the same vehicle in every battle, and that's not going to be fun for anybody. So the Swingfire in Early Access 2 of Armored Warfare has the advantages of one of the best view ranges in the game, one of the best camouflage systems in the game, pretty good mobility, and has a hard-hitting weapon when it can be fired stationary from outside the view range of many other tanks. Really, the only downside to the Swingfire is it does not have a lot of hit points, so the survivability of the Swingfire once it gets hit is not very long. But we'll see what the upcoming visibility nerf does to it in one of the future patches. And the hotfix that's being applied here today or relatively soon should impact how its missiles are fired already. So they'll be able to get metrics on whether or not that's a big enough change or not. Some of the other things that the hotfix is going to impact is the turning bug of main battle tanks turning too slowly when they're at speed, and probably most importantly, and what a lot of people are waiting for, is a fix for the ammo swap exploit. If you're not familiar, people have found out that the perks that you can assign to reduce your reload time stack. So if you have one for your commander and one for your loader, both of them reduce your reload time, and that is probably working as intended. What's not working as intended is apparently if you swap back and forth between your ammunition choices, say between HE and AP, the reload time was drastically reduced, and this is something that is not working as intended or not working as it should have been. And it was an exploit that people were using to be able to fire their main guns twice as fast or sometimes even faster than they're supposed to be able to. Now it looks like the European servers are down currently. They delayed the launch or the opening of those servers today by an hour while they installed this hotfix, and they are now back down again. It looks like they're having some issues with progressions. People lost some progression points that they had, and matchmaking is not working, so obviously the hotfix didn't really work the way it was intended. Hopefully they get that straightened out and the European servers come back up online and they know what happened, so that when the North American servers launch tonight, they can get the hotfix applied appropriately. Or I suppose worst comes to worst, they won't install it for the North American server, and we'll just have to wait a little bit longer for these fixes to take effect. So this has been Swingfire gameplay in the second early access test of Armored Warfare. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Feel free to give a thumbs up to the video down below if you want. We will have more news and information about the hotfix on the armoredtalk.com blog. And once the Swingfire gets rebalanced, we will do another video on it. I think this is a very interesting armored fighting vehicle in that it can only do missiles, so it provides some interesting and unique gameplay. I'll leave it up to you to decide if in this current incarnation if it's overpowered or not. Obviously in this particular game our platoon took 1 and 2 with quite a bit of damage for tier 4 vehicles. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, morning, or evening.